Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this very sunny and hot Space Coast of Florida, area code 321, Monday afternoon. It is hot out there, folks, and you're joining me live in my Fiat studio. I don't know what it is about me and Mondays here recently. I find myself on Mondays doing errands, and oftentimes this is a great opportunity for me to put some content out there to share with your minds full of mush, that I can mold them, fashion them into something that God would find pleasing. As I'm driving, I am reminded of the phrase, stay in your lane. I am traveling southbound on US Highway 1, and I'm staying in my lane. If you've ever driven in Florida, now you can pretty much drive normally during the summer months because all the snowbirds have fled or have migrated back to the tundra. They will be back, but when the snowbirds are here, I stay in the outside lane and mind my own business because over here is just crazy. This is where old people come to drive 40 miles an hour in a 75 mile an hour lane with their turn signal on. Okay? That is Florida. But it is very important to stay in your lane when you drive. Why? Because if I begin to drift into that lane, it could be very dangerous. I could be hit. I could hit someone. If somebody from that lane drifts over here, they could hit me. It could be a bad day for everybody. All right? So it's important that we stay in our lane, stay in the right lane, make sure you're going in the right direction, keep your eyes open, watch out for things that are around you. Be safe out there, people. Just be safe, especially on these Florida highways. Be safe. Now, also, we have to deal with a lot of people from New York. What I found out from people in New York who move down here, if they're from New York City, a lot of them never had an automobile until they moved down here. So it's like people that have had driver's license with absolutely no driving experience. Yeah, so I stay in this outside lane, mind my business, stay in my lane. I've said all of that to say this. Said all of that to say this. That phrase, stay in your lane, is very helpful to remember when you feel the need to give commentary or input on things that you are not really qualified to do. You heard that phrase, you may have even used that phrase, or someone may have used that phrase on you when you give some input. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. And there's a lot of wisdom in that because we live in a time when there is so much information coming at us, so many varying opinions. Truth is not static in this culture. Truth is fluid. It is basically my truth versus your truth. Everyone has their own idea of truth. Therefore, a lot of people feel qualified to give opinions and offer expertise on things that they know absolutely nothing about. But maybe they heard a bit on a podcast. They got a snippet that they read in a Facebook post, or they read something that was just completely fabricated and they bought into it. This is why it's important that if you're going to share your opinion, especially if it's anything you see on social media, please fact check it. F-A-C-T. Fact check it to make sure it's true. I don't know how many people, good friends of mine, I have seen or post or repost things that were not true. They weren't true. They were absolutely proven false. But yet they continue to hang on to this false narrative, even though it's been proven to be false. That's just crazy. So fact check your evidence. Make sure that you stay in your lane and keep going forward and keep moving forward safely, quietly, and attain as many facts as you can, or obtain many facts as you possibly can. This brings me full circle to where I wanted to go. I try to read a lot. Right now I probably have 5 or 6 books going simultaneously, because reading one book can get your mind burnt, so it's easy I find it's easy to continue to read if I get heavy into a topic, that I can just switch gears into something that's a little lighter, or a genre that's completely different from what I'm reading. I found that I have a tendency to buy a lot of books that are very similar in their subject matter, and I've been depriving myself of other things that are out there. Okay? So, I try to read as much as I can. I used to buy a lot of books, hardbound books, paperbacks, hardback books, but it just got to the point where I was running out of room for them. And I would find myself periodically every few years cleaning out my books, giving them away. There are a lot of used bookstores that will take your used books and give you a credit where you can buy more books. All right. So, I started getting things on Kindle. I have the Kindle app loaded onto my Kindle Fire, and I read that I try to read every single day. And one of the authors that I really like to read is Dr. Gregory Boyd. Dr. Boyd has numerous degrees from many prestigious theological institutions here in the United States. He is considered a biblical scholar. He is someone that puts the hard work in. He is someone that digs the truth out of a topic. He goes for it. He digs it out. He works with it. He tries to establish a solid foundation on the things that he shares. So if you know you're going to get something from him, it's going to be very in-depth. It's going to be very in-depth. There's going to be a lot of footnotes, quotations, references to other authors and other books. And that's how I've gotten some of my books, by reading some of the things that the author reads. One of the books that I read from him in the last couple of years is The Myth of a Christian Nation. I'm not going to give you my view on the book. I'm not going to give you any review of the book at this time. I might do that later. But suffice it to say, I like the book. And I was thumbing through the Kindle version of that today, reading some of the places I highlighted and made notes on different passages. And while I was looking at these notes, I noticed, if you have Kindle, you will see that you have the option to purchase books that are similar, or people that bought this book also bought this book. And one of the books that some readers bought along with Dr. Boyd's book, or very similar to Dr. Boyd's book, was a book by a man by the name of John Teller. And he wrote a book entitled The Myth of a Christian Nation, Rebuttal. Okay? Where he takes on and attempts to do a rebuttal of Dr. Boyd's work. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I wholeheartedly agree that is something that you have the right to do. My objection to his book, which, if we should even call it a book, it's 68 pages. That's more of a booklet. And I'm sure that includes the little contents, the table of contents, and any references and other things that may be in there that actually take up space. 68 pages to rebut a biblical scholar's work. When I saw that and I read that, I thought, are you out of your mind? You're going to do a rebuttal on a biblical scholar's work in a 68-page booklet? A 68-page booklet? I might have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night. I might be slow, but I'm definitely worth the wait, all right? But to say that you did a complete rebuttal of a scholarly work in 68 pages is insane. It's insane. And then I noticed a pattern from John Teller. John Teller's pattern is this. He finds best-selling books and then he does a rebuttal of them. And I think the way that he structures his title is in a way that if you're just kind of glancing and you see this booklet for a lot less than the actual book, but it has a title that's very similar, it can cause you to think, hey, it's the same book. I can get it a lot less here than I can if I buy it from over here. And so I think people have bought that booklet thinking that they were actually getting Dr. Boyd's work. Surprise! It wasn't. So I noticed that Dr. Boyd's work wasn't the only work that he's done this to. He's done this to several other authors, which brought me to the conclusion that if you're giving these little snippets of the work of scholars who have done all the work, that have packed all the burdens, who have brought their own water, who have chopped their own wood, they've done all the heavy lifting, and then you're going to come in with 68 pages and try to rebuke that or provide a rebuttal of that. To me, that's just saying I'm lazy. I see an opportunity to make money, and I'm going to capitalize on it. I could be completely wrong, and I know I'm sounding a little rough and probably very judgmental, but to me, if you're going to take on the work of a scholar, what you need to do is do it in a scholarly fashion. If not, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. That's all I'm saying. So if you're going to do something like that, make sure that you stay in your lane. I'm going to be talking on this topic of staying in your lane more, but right now, that's all we've got for today. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.